Hello everybody, Phantom Fear here. Welcome back to another Clickteam Fusion 2.5 tutorial. Today we're going to be creating the Jevil boss fight from Deltarune. Now last time we were creating the Sans fight from Undertale, but this time around we're going to be delving into Deltarune. Now this tutorial is going to work for you on any version of Clickteam Fusion 2.5, whether that be the free edition, the personal edition, or the developer edition, so don't worry if you don't have the money to spend on this. And with that being said, let's jump straight into this by going up to File, clicking New, and then clicking here to go straight into our frame. Alright, once you're here, you'll see we've got nothing at the moment. And the background's white, which isn't how it appears in the game. It's more of a very dark background. And because of this, we're going to go up to the top left, click on Frame, and where it says Background Color, we're going to change that to black. This replicates the in-game appearance a bit better than white. Now that we've got our nice black background, we're going to right click, go to Insert Object, and click Active. If it's hard to find in here, there is a lot of this. You can just type it in the search bar here, but it should be one of the first ones to come up. Alright, after you've clicked on Active, you'll come up with this little crosshair. Just click anywhere. I'm going to click in the middle of the screen, and that'll plonk down your active object. Actives, if you're new to Clickteam Fusion, they're basically objects that have the ability to move or react with their surroundings. Alright, now that we've got our active, we're just going to double click on it, which will bring up a new window. In this window we can freely draw, edit and change what our object looks like. So first off, I'm going to come up to the very top left and you'll see a blank piece of paper that's clear. You can press Ctrl-L as well, it doesn't really matter. That'll just get rid of the base diamond. Now I'm going to go into Google Chrome, and all I've typed in is Undertale Soul, and I've just come down to here, and I'm going to copy this soul. You can find any of them, preferably one that doesn't have a background, of course. Now we're going to go back into our Clickteam Fusion, and we're just going to press Ctrl and V to paste it in. If you come up with this message, it's just saying that it's too big to fit into a small area, so if it wants to enlarge it, just press yes. You'll see the soul is very big now, but that doesn't matter as of now. We're going to go down to the bottom right and click OK. That's going to save our changes, and you'll see the instant problem is it's almost as big as our entire frame. So in order to fix this, we're just going to click on it, come down to the properties in the bottom left, and go over to size and position, and we're going to change the size, the width and height. We're going to change it to 16 and 16. They say we've got a nice little soul here. Now I'm sure you all know in Deltarune the soul does not roam about in the big black space. It's contained by a little green box. So now we're going to create that green box, which is very simple. All you want to do again is right click, insert object, and rather than doing active this time, we're going to type in quick, and that's going to come up with quick backdrop. Type it in because it's easier to find. You can find it in the original list, but I recommend just searching for it. Again, we're going to get the little cursor, place it anywhere. You'll see now we have a grey square, which isn't what we want. So we're going to come down back to the properties in the bottom left. We're going to click on settings, and we're going to change the color to a darkish green. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to its size and proportion again, much like we did with the soul. I'm going to make the width around 3, and then make the height 200. Make this as big or small as you want. Now that we have this is just going to be the outline of my box, and click on it, press Ctrl and C to copy it, and then click elsewhere and click Ctrl and V to paste it. Now that we've got two walls of our box, rather than copying it, because a little hint here, if you change the size of object you copied, it will change the size of all of them, and that's not what we want. So we're going to right click on it, but this time we're going to press clone. This is going to allow us to change the size of it without altering any of the other ones. So we're going to put the same proportions in again, but reversed. So we're going to want the width to be 200 and we're going to want the height to be 3. Now we're going to copy that and put it up here. Now you just got to make some small adjustments here to make sure everything fits. And that looks good. So now we have our box which will contain our soul. Next off, obviously because this is the Jevil fight, we're going to want to have Jevil. He usually appears at the right of the screen. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to go back into Google and I found this very cool sprite sheet online. It's at this website here, thank you to this website, where we can easily just copy this sprite sheet and plunk it into our program. So what we're going to want to do is go to Insert Object, Active, and off to the side here, out of the frame, where it won't be visible to the game. We're going to click on this, we're going to clear it, and we're going to paste in our sprite sheet we just copied. Now you'll see an instant problem here, which is where everything that was once black in the sprite sheet is now see-through. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear it and we're going to get the paint bucket tool as well as the color black. I'm going to just fill it in black. Now we're going to paste it back in and you'll see that is instantly fixed the problem. Now the only bit I'm interested in at the moment is this little animation here. He usually plays this when he's sending attack out, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to get the selection tool here. It's also mapped to B. We're going to zoom in a bit, and we're going to go to the top right of the first frame, and we're going to drag it all the way over to the bottom right of the last frame. So you can see we've got this selected now. So what we're going to do is press Ctrl and C, and then we're going to be done with that. So we're going to press OK. Let's put that off to the side so it's out of frame. Now we're going to make a new active object. Again, right click, Insert Object, Active. You'll catch on to this. We're going to go here and we're going to press Clear and Control and V. Again, enlarge it if it asks. Now you'll see we have all the frames of animation we want. I'm simply going to go in, click here to get invisible, transparency, and equip the paint bucket tool. Now we're going to click on every bit of purple. It's quite easy to see purple. You won't have a hard time doing this. We're just going to remove all the purple and replace it with transparency, which is very simple to do. So I'm going to quickly go through and do this. You're also going to want to remove the box on the outside layer, so just click on that as well to remove that. Now that we've made all the purple completely transparent, we're going to go back over to our select tool and we're going to select the entirety of the first frame. We're going to go to the bottom of the screen here where it's under the frames tab. We're going to right click in the empty space and press a new frame. Here we're just going to simply paste in the first frame of animation, and they come up to the box up in the top left here that says crop. That's also Control and K if it's hard to see. That's just going to leave us with this one frame of animation. We're going to select this, and so we can have a relative position to know where we're working from, we're going to make sure the edge of his sprite hits the very edge of the frame there. Okay, next we're going to clone this frame by right clicking it, press clone. Now we'll see we have two of them here. You can switch between all your frames at the bottom by simply clicking on them. We're going to go to the top left of our third frame and clear it. Now we're going to go back to our first frame and we're simply going to select the next frame. We're going to repeat this process every time, make sure the very edge of the sprite's at the edge of the screen to make sure it's all consistent. Again, clone, back up to here, delete it, go back to the first frame, get the third frame, and I'm going to very quickly, if it asks you to enlarge it, that's totally fine, as long as you always put the pixel at the very edge of the screen, and it's all going to be consistent at the end. Anyway, clone that, carry on through. I'll quickly speed this up, but just repeat this process until you've made it the way through. Now that I've made it halfway, it's a quick little tip you can do here. Rather than going through and copying all of these, you can notice they're pretty much identical to each other, but just flipped. So what we can actually just do is copy our, hold down Shift and select all our first 4 frames of the animation, press Ctrl C, go on the last frame, press Ctrl V, remove the empty frame, of course we don't need that, and then find where it loops, go up to the top left here and click flip horizontally. We can do that throughout all of them. Again, we will have to adjust them to hit the very sides, but after that it saves you the time and effort of going through and doing it all manually. Now that we've done adding all the frames of animation into this active object, we're going to go down to directional options, which is a tab right next to frames, and we're going to change the speed from 50 to somewhere around 15. We're also going to have to check the loop option so it keeps playing on repeat, and to test if it looks good or not, we can simply press play in the bottom right and we can watch our animation. Now you'll quickly notice the problem is we've left the first frame of animation in, so it's going to switch between that. That's a very easy fix. Just go down to the frames and delete the first frame. There we go. Let's try that again, and there we go. Got the happy little Jevil bouncing about. Now that we are done and happy with that, I'm going to click OK, and you'll see he is a tad bit small, so let's simply just rescale him up using the squares at the sides. Let's make him about twice as big. There we go. And now we can test how he looks in the game by simply pressing F8 on your keyboard. That will instantly run the app. You can run the other ways by going up to the top and clicking these, but I like to press F8. It's a lot quicker. And you see, now we've got a little happy Jevil dancing at the side of our screen. Now if you go to move your character, you'll see nothing happens, okay, and that's a very, very simple fix. I'm going to click on our soul right here, I'm going to go down to the bottom left, and we're going to click on this tab here, that's a little running man, it's called movement. We're going to click on type, and we're going to change that to 8 directions. That's on 8 directions, our character will move by default using the arrow keys. We're going to change the speed of the character because he will be a bit fast and control a bit weirdly. We're going to go down to speed. I'm going to make his speed 20 and make his deceleration and acceleration to both 80. Now if you press F8 again and try out your arrow keys, there we go. Our soul moves about the screen, sealed in by a box. You'll notice a big problem though. This box, its purpose is to keep you inside of it, but we can very easily just move outside of it. Now this is a super easy fix. We're going to close this down, we're going to move our soul out of the box very quickly, we're going to highlight all of it. Then we're going to go down to the bottom left, again under properties, and go to runtime options. Here under obstacle type, we've got none, which will mean no matter what happens, nothing will happen when we collide with it. We're going to change that to obstacle. And now in order to make sure it actually works, because at this point, even though we've done that, it's still not going to do anything. We're going to have to go up to the top left up here under event editor. It's right next to the frame editor up here. You switch between these. Looks like this. Frame editors, event editors where you put all your code if you haven't been here before. Super easy and simple to use. All we have to do is go to new condition, right click, which will open up this box here. We're going to go to our soul and right click on that. We're going to go under collisions, and then we're going to click backdrop. Now this is basically saying when we collide with the backdrop, what is going to happen. So we're going to go over to our soul here, the box that's directly underneath the soul, the right click, and we'll go to movement and stop. Now that you'll see when we start it, we can't actually leave the boundaries of the box, which is good because that's exactly what we want. That's some very good initial progress we've made for this episode. In the next episode, we'll be creating some attacks for Jevil, and we're going to make it so you'll see a visible effect when you get hit by one of his attacks. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.